Hi, my name is Zenka Caro, and this is Creation Space, where we interview creators who are creating incredible things. We always like to talk to pioneers, and Nadi is a pioneer. She teaches people astral travel, sacred geometry, galactic connections. This is really the frontier, and we're so happy to have you today. Welcome, Nadi.
Thanks, Zenka. Good to be here.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, what do you think, you do so many courses. I look at your website and I'm just like, wow, there's so many different practices that you're bringing to the world. What are the most favorite things that you do with people, and what do they seem to get out of it?
Yeah, well, that's a great question because the the core subject that I'm passionate about is us stepping into our multidimensionality, right? So I do have all these avenues, whether it's star family or light language or connecting with Arcturians, Syrians, Andromedans, all of the different civilizations that are here to help us with our multidimensionality. uh, the geometry and the crop circles, right? Like super benign, easy to access, let's see, gateways, and portals and access codes for our expansion. So it's the thing that makes sense to me. The time is now. Our collective consciousness is in dire need of us tapping into our full selves. So that's my passion. Those are the avenues. And
Yeah, so
I
I didn't even realize, when you said, oh, when people look at the sacred geometry, it actually activates them. And I didn't really get that until I did some of your experiences where you were hosting a bunch of people and then we were doing meditations with them. Um, so talk more about what it means to you interdimensional, because I think we're all coming to terms with the fact that we're more our body, we're more than this little thing that was this room. So how does that work, and how do people get activated, and what happens when they do?
Yeah, it's been really powerful. I've had a lot of experiences lately of drawing with people and they're just popping and they're calling me after and I'm like, what is happening? I was just drawing some shapes. And it's kind of sneaky and a subversive activation because you think you're just drawing Metatron's cube and really you're harmonizing your entire system. The symmetry in the shapes is aligning the hemispheres of our brain. And then we have these altered states of consciousness where we can receive higher guidance and, um, you know, be aware of the path forward, right? So the geometry guides and activates, and it's very unsuspecting, right? Like all of a sudden you're able to uh, your psychic senses are coming on board. You have that intuitive ability to read a situation or the energetics of something. And so it's kind of hard to describe like how the geometry does that, but it's working with the 95% of our subconscious mind that is running the show, but we're not aware of. So it's really a bridge to connect us with our higher selves and our wisdom. And I always tell people to try and prepare for what the transformation it can bring, and it's hard to explain. So
Yeah, that makes sense though, because they say that your subconscious mind is all emotion and images. It's not actual words. So it makes sense that these things would trigger some sort of remembering. And that's like basically, why do you think that, in your crop circle class that I've taken, or the workshops and stuff, you're just like, oh yeah, these are the man-made ones, these are ones that cannot be explained, this is how it's bent in a certain way, this is how it does it. But like, so in a sense, it's also asking us to remember, like, what what do you think is going on with crop circles, and have they increased, and like, what do you think is the message behind them?
oh my gosh, that's a really big question. um what comes to mind is I've been looking into texts and books from the pioneers, Barbara Marciniak and Bringers of the Dawn, all sorts of foreseers of human consciousness and the evolution, right? And so many of them talk about the plan for our DNA to really start popping now. And somehow this, the genuine crop circles have an encoded technology that's interfacing with our DNA collectively and individually uh, that is programmed to be activated right now. And so we're coming online. These things have the ability to support that. And I don't really know how, but we do know there's star glyphs and there's sonic codes and there's geometry. There's all sorts of things embedded in these. And all you got to do is stare at them and the activation happens.
That's right. That's right. And there's a lot of precedence to this work, because I know different people like Stephen Greer, they take the actual sound of the within the crop circle itself, they basically play that, and then the ships show up. So there is this correlation, and I know you're always wearing like stuff, so there is this correlation, and I'm really excited to experiment with your team and my team as a collaborative during this 8-week immersive process where season 3 is about to kick off. And I have asked you to send me some crop circles, and we're actually going to code that into audio and put them over the radios. What do you think might happen?
Well, that's why we're going to do it. I mean, that seems like a good combo of contact modalities, right? It's just so exciting, for us to figure out the clues that they've left for us, right? To have a sense of like, to learn like, oh, when the radio is clicking this, combination, that's them saying hi. Or, oh, when we're in a field and we've got theta waves and we are, accessing higher states of consciousness, and then you start blending them all together. You can't take a radio into a field, I think, because, electromagnetic devices tend to not work in those, when you're in the actual fields of the genuine crop circle.
Are you
I'm
serious?
excited. I have no idea what's going to happen. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, and we were just talking with Erica about how she's like broken electronics, because once your electromagnetic field, like this is the ether, and we're like so excited to have the ether guides.
Yeah.
the dimensional guides. Well, thank you so much, Nadi, for all that you're doing in the world. People love your courses and love your gifts, and you're such a kind and smart person that's amassed a massive amount of research and data. You can find Nadi at galacticrosegeometry.com, and you can also sign up for her team, which is going to be an intimate time with her, where she's going to be doing all sorts of astral travel and different meditations, and you're going to learn all about this stuff at lightnet.org/Nadi, Nadi. Nadi, do you have anything you want to say before we close?
Yeah. Okay. So this is what popped in. We're doing a really good job, right? With all of the practices and explorations, like this is what we're supposed to be doing, is opening and receiving. And I think that's how humanity might make it. I don't know. We don't know, jury's out, but that dimensional shift is happening as we're exploring and coming into our highest capacity, so yeah, good job us, go team.
Indeed. It's like turning on those antennas, that listening capacity. And thanks for holding our hand while we're doing that.
Well, thanks back, because everything that you're doing and holding our hand and extending invitations, Zinka, you're a beacon of light. I so appreciate your presence and your offerings. So
I feel the same way about you, Nadi. Awesome. If you liked watching this clip, go ahead and gift the creators with a like and subscribe below. And also let us know in the comments what you thought of this creation. By the way, our inbox is always waiting for you to tell us what you dream of creating at team@lightnet.org.